Okay. So for those of you who don't know me, my name is Raine. And as you can see from the way I'm bundled up, I'm in the Southern Hemisphere. I'm in Johannesburg, South Africa. Thank you for being with us on school or watching on the replay. All three of us are super excited to have you here today. I'm just going to give you a quick breakdown of what we're doing in the call today. I'm going to start off sharing about Healy, the device, how it works, microcurrents and frequency. And I'll share a little bit of my own personal testimonial, what Healy has done for me. Then we're going to move on to Ashley, who's going to be talking about the coil and the coach, so some of the more subconscious aspects of Healy, as well as where Healy comes from, the inventor and the investor. And then we'll move on to Jessie, who's going to share about the mag and just touch on the business opportunity that comes with Healy. And each of them will also share a little bit about their personal experience. Okay, does that sound good? All right, let's get started. I must apologize if you hear some weird sounds in the background. My dogs are playing. All right. So first off, I'm going to start with the basics. What is Healy? So this is Healy. It is a wearable device which uses both frequency and microcurrent for your holistic well-being. And as you can see, it fits into the palm of your hand, and it has been created for personal at-home use as well as on the go. It contains a quantum sensor which can scan your bioenergetic field and then deliver the exact frequencies that you need at that moment in time to come back into balance, body, mind, and soul. So I know that if you're new to these concepts, what I just said might sound pretty, but not really mean much to you. So let's get a little deeper into exactly how it works. I'll start off by explaining microcurrents. Did you know that your body is electric? In the past, scientists thought that our biology is purely chemical in nature. And while that remains true, it's not the whole picture. Research is now showing that we are in fact electrical beings and that our electrical nature is at the basis of our biology. Your brain, nervous system, organs, and cells all communicate and function with a very low voltage electrical current. Microcurrents is the same low voltage electrical current. And when it is directed into the body, it stimulates the body's natural internal processes. Microcurrent has been shown to increase ATP production by up to 500%, which is huge. So if you don't know, ATP is the unit of measurement of the energy which is produced in the mitochondria within your cells. So essentially, microcurrent stimulates and improves mitochondrial function, which is really the gold standard of regeneration. You can think of it like this. Sometimes your car battery leaks or loses power and then it goes flat and your car won't start. You then need to bring in another car to jumpstart it by sending the same electrical current that is normally in your battery from the other car's battery, which brings your car battery back to life. Now imagine that the cells of your body are tiny little car batteries. Sometimes something goes out of alignment and the cells no longer have the energy that they're meant to have, and therefore the cells stop functioning properly. Healy acts as that other car battery that comes in to jumpstart the cells of your body. So some of you may be familiar with the TENS machine. That is not the same as microcurrent. That's actually a higher voltage electrical current, which can really be felt. And sometimes it can even be a little bit uncomfortable or even painful. Whereas microcurrents, because it's the same electrical current that's already in the body, is very gentle. And many people don't feel the current at all. Some people might experience like a pleasant tingling sensation, or they might feel other very subtle sensations in the body when a program is running. And other people just don't feel anything at all. Of course, some people are more sensitive and they might feel the currents more strongly compared to somebody else. So if microcurrents can be thought of as the vehicle, the car, frequency can be thought of as the driver, directing the current to a targeted area in the body. Everything is energy. Even though we perceive our physical world as solid matter, When we break it down to the atomic level, we realize that every single atom is over 99% nothing. So what is that nothing, that apparent empty space? That is energy. Every type of cell in your body, for example, an eye cell, a stomach cell, a liver cell, is made up of atoms that vibrate at a specific frequency. And it is the vibration at that specific frequency that causes those atoms to manifest as that specific type of cell. By sending this specific frequency into the body, we initiate the natural internal process of regeneration and repair. Any cells that are out of alignment with their natural frequency will now entrain to the correct frequency, returning to their optimal function. And the same can be said of the more subtle aspects of the cell, the energy body and the soul. It is the combined use of both microcurrent and frequency which makes Healy so powerful. Furthermore, the quantum sensor really sets Healy apart as a groundbreaking and category-creating product. In addition to the scan function, once you start running a program, the sensor interfaces with your bioenergetic field every 10 seconds, testing which specific frequencies are most resonant for you at that moment. It then uses this information to determine which frequencies within the range of frequencies contained in the program, which has a specific purpose, will be most beneficial for you, specifically you, in achieving that purpose. So in other words, if you and I are sitting next to each other and you're running the same program that I'm running, we won't necessarily be getting exactly the same frequencies. We'll each be receiving the frequencies that we need. Healy is the only product on the market with this capability. People often ask, how is it possible to have such a small device that has such advanced tech and capabilities? And the answer is that the device contains no memory or stored information. The hundreds of programs containing hundreds of thousands of frequencies are stored on an app on your smartphone. When you want to run a program, you connect via Bluetooth to transfer the desired program, and you can then completely disconnect the Bluetooth and the program just continues to run from the device. I also invite you to ponder on how teeny tiny a microchip is, and yet it has vast capabilities. There are 5 different editions available, ranging from the entry-level gold edition all the way through up to the professional edition. The hardware of the device always remains exactly the same, and the difference is in which programs you receive on the app. So I'm going to screen share now and show you how it looks when you go into the app. So let me just find my screen share button. Right. Okay. So when you first go into the app, it's going to show you the little screen where it's connecting to the Healy device. And then once it's connected, it's going to show you this list of programs. You can see at the top, it says Gold Cycle, and then it runs down the list. Now, these are all program groups, and within each program group, you have multiple different programs. I'm going to do a quick little run through of them. This is an example of a resonance edition, which is the middle edition. So the Gold Cycle programs are the foundational programs that were created by Nuno Nina, and that was what Healy started off with. They are very valuable programs that are like really extensive on how they affect the body. And then the second program group is pain and stimulation. So these are the programs for localized pain, as well as for anxiety, depression, and insomnia. Then we move on to the fitness program group. So pretty self-explanatory. These are all programs that support your strength and fitness goals. Next up is the sleep programs. Again, self-explanatory. I love the sleep programs, some of my favorites. And then we've got the mental balance programs. These ones are also some of my favorites, really amazing for supporting us on those more subtle levels of our mental and emotional well-being. Then you'll see the skin and beauty group here. This is actually not on the resonance. I just added the skin programs on as a monthly subscription. So you can see the skin programs, but the beauty programs are not showing here. Beauty contains things like aging, hair, nails, and skin as well. Then we've got bioenergetic harmony 1 and 2. If you just have a quick scan through those, you can see that these are mainly supportive of the different organ systems or specific areas in the body. And then we have meridians, which are based on traditional Chinese medicine, organ theory, and 5-element theory. So each of those is a different meridian in the body. We have the chakra programs, bioenergetic defense. Again, this program group doesn't come with a resonance. I've added it on as a monthly subscription because I love these programs. They work on the more subtle aspects of like strengthening our own bioenergetic field to protect us from the influence of outside energies and also EMFs. So that's a really cool one there. Then we've got bioenergetic support. Coherence is, again, one of my favorite programs. It's really lovely to use during meditation. Or like, for example, if you're doing a call like this or you're doing something in a group, it's great to bring you all into coherence. And then the last program group that on this edition is Power of 3. You'll see at the top, it has the traditional Rife programs. So if anyone is familiar with Rife, and then the rest of the programs are based on Ayurvedic protocol. All right, so I'm going to stop my screen share now. Okay, and then the last thing I want to show you is how the microcurrent is actually delivered to your body. So you can see I've got my Healy just clipped onto my jersey here. And then we've got these electrode bracelets and they connect to the device with these wires. So that is how the microcurrent is delivered to your body. And then you'll hear from Ashley about the coil, which is like a little add-on that basically makes it wireless. So that's my share on the device itself. And then I just want to take a moment to speak about my personal experience with Healy. A couple of days I woke up and I was lying in bed all cozied up because it's been really freezing cold here in Joburg. We actually had snow 2 days ago. And I was reflecting on the beautiful time that I just had in Portugal on our Healy team retreats. And I realized that it is exactly a year since I pretty much hit rock bottom. I had been chronically unwell for 4 going on 5 years. And there had been periods where I felt a little bit better, and then periods that were really difficult and I was basically debilitated. I had very severe fatigue, and I then started developing all sorts of other symptoms. By the end, I had a list of over 30 different symptoms I was experiencing. And it just made life really hard. Just getting through the day, just looking after myself, looking after my son, being a single mom, trying to work and earn money. Life became really hard and really dark. And I hit a point where I felt completely hopeless. And at the very young age of 36, I wondered, is this what the rest of my life is going to look like? Is this all I have to look forward to? And in that moment, I made a decision. I made a commitment that I was going to do whatever it takes to regain my wellness and get my life back. I wasn't going to sit back and accept that this is it, because I had one of those mysterious things that doesn't show up on tests. Nobody knows what it is, and therefore, what can you do about it? And so I prayed for a solution. And that was when Healy came into my awareness. At the same time, I also became aware of something called breast implant illness. And that led me to the decision to have a surgery to remove my breast implants. And it was in September last year that I had that surgery. And I actually received my Healy on the day that I went to the hospital to have my surgery. So the day that I got back from the hospital was the day that I started using the Healy. And within the first couple of days, I was blown away because I had an incredible experience with the pain relief programs. After my surgery, I had the most excruciating pain I've ever experienced in my life. I think it might even have been worse than child labor and then giving birth. And they had taken me off the one medication, and I didn't actually realize how strong this medication was and how much it was doing. And I don't like taking pharmaceuticals, so I was happy to go off it. But within 24 hours, I was in so much pain that I couldn't move. And I used one of the pain programs, and if my pain was at a 10 at the start of the program, 20 minutes later, the pain was down to a 5, and I could actually move. And then in the coming weeks and months, I steadily recovered really fast. A lot of women don't recover very fast after explanting. It can take them up to 2 years to be well again. Sometimes they don't recover at all. And now I think it's about 9 months later, I have my life back. I have all my energy back. I feel completely well. I feel strong, happy. And I know that if I hadn't bought the Healy when I decided to, I would still be on a very hard and difficult journey and having a difficult experience in my physical life. So I'm incredibly grateful that it came into my awareness when it did, and it really was an answer to prayer. And I also want to share quickly that the beginning of my experience with Healy was obviously very physical. It was all about what was going on in my body. But once those issues started to resolve one by one, and I came back into the state of physical balance, now what I'm getting to experience with Healy is the more subtle aspects of it. And those benefits are more on the level of like mind and emotions, but even more deeply than that, the soul. And I really do believe that that's what Healy is here for. It's here to support us on that physical level, to really clean out everything that's not in alignment in the body so that we can deepen into our spiritual connection. So that's my testimonial. And now I'm going to hand over to Ashley.
Thank you, Raine. Hi, everybody. I'm Ashley, and I'm really excited to share some aspects of the coaching module, touching on where Raine left off on the aspect of how this technology is able to really work with deeper parts of our being. So the coaching module, I have a lot of experience with all of the Healy technologies. As I get into my story, you'll hear how I had a severe back injury and how Healy has really helped facilitate a full recovery from that physically. But a huge, huge thing that I will forever be grateful for is the energetic component of working with the coaching module, specifically through healing this injury. So basically, the coaching module enables you to interface directly with the information field and your subconscious mind. The coaching module is available on the Resonance Plus and the Professional, and it works in a way similar to Healy, how Healy is scanning you and sending you customized frequencies. The coaching module is doing the same thing. And what it's really doing is enabling us to truly tap into our full human potential. So how does it do this? Basically, every thought and feeling carries a frequency, even those in the subconscious mind, even those we're unaware of. So these thoughts and feelings that live beyond the conscious mind are still emitting frequencies in our bodies, lives, and beings. And the way that Healy is able to work with the subconscious is that it has over 10 million identified frequencies that it's working with on the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, and subconscious levels. So these frequencies are patterns that are recognized and categorized. And so what Healy is able to do is scan you, measure these frequencies that you are currently emitting, and then send you the customized frequencies that you need in real time for your highest state of balance. And so how does it do this? In the coaching module, there's a little section where you write in your goals or your desires. And when you write in what you want, it comes back with a scan telling you a few things. One, what are the blocks for reaching that goal? What are any beliefs preventing you from experiencing that desire? And really it's working on the level of like subtle energy, these emotional levels that are often where energies and challenges are stored in ways that we're unaware of. So thinking on the lines of ancestral patterns and karmic imprints that are keeping you stuck or often in a state of self-sabotage. So basically, it's reading the information frequencies that you're carrying, and instead of going into any stories about what these frequencies are or what these experiences are that you're continuing to have, it can read the energy, reveal the subconscious patterns, and send you the correct frequencies for your body, psyche, and biofield to bring you back into your highest state of balance and coherence. So when it does this, it's sending you statements that you can sit with, you can reflect on, you can journal with, you can meditate on. And then what it does is, I'm going to get into this, how it's vibrating into the information field. Because basically, as we're working with more subtle layers of energy, like the subconscious and Akashic realities, it's important to understand that these layers are under the logic of the mind. And so this is really where the power of the coaching comes into play, because it enables us to access things that are beyond our logical attempts at doing the work or healing or showing up or working through things that personally, maybe you can relate, throw in the chat, like things that we've been faced with our whole lives that just don't seem to go away. Maybe it's a money challenge, maybe it's a physical challenge, maybe it's a deeply self-limiting belief or pattern, or maybe it's an abusive relationship, like self-critical like thought loops that you have with yourself that you just can't seem to break through. This is where the frequencies really come in and help you come into very literally a state of resonance and coherence with that which you desire, because it's a key form of manifestation that in order to receive that which we desire, we need to be a vibrational match for that. And so what Healy does is it helps clear the clutter that is preventing us from being a vibrational match for that which we actually desire. So that's a little bit on how the coaching works. I'm going to share a little bit about my story and how I have used the coach to work through a really, really big challenge in my life, which is a severe back injury that I had for over a decade. And so I really fell in love with the coaching module back in January when my back injury got bad again. For those of you who might be familiar with my story at all, like I've recently gone through my second surgery, and but 2 years ago, I had my first surgery, and it was a microdiscectomy, and it lasted for a year to the day of the surgery until the disc started collapsing again. And when this started happening, it was a pretty rock bottom moment for me, because not only was I in an incredible amount of physical pain, but this injury had really siphoned my life force for a long time, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. And so when the disc collapsed again, I knew I was going to need another surgery, and I knew it was going to have to be a fusion. And this is when I started using the coaching module really seriously to work with my mindset, because I was really struggling on one hand, but on the other hand, I had serious goals for moving through this surgery and fully healing and recovering to live the life that I felt was calling me, even though it felt really far away because I had had this limitation for so long. And so basically, I had an experience with my first surgery where I had to wait 6 months and be in debilitating pain to have my first surgery. And I knew coming into this second experience, I didn't want that. I knew I wanted to have the surgery quickly. I had to find a new surgeon because the other one didn't take my insurance anymore, which was like a whole debacle. And so I was like, okay, I want to have this surgery quickly. I want to find the most perfect surgeon who is the most qualified for this. And I want to have a full recovery in time to get to the Portugal retreat, which gave me a limited timeline. And I made these declarations in my Healy, and with so much gratitude, working with the information field, not only did I make it to Portugal within the timeline, but I had the surgery within 2 weeks, and I had it with the perfect surgeon. And so this whole culmination of working with the coach, I would put in the coach every day. I am so grateful for my swift and easeful recovery from this surgery. I am so grateful for the perfect surgeon that has come along to help me recover fully and live a fully thriving life. And so that is one component of working with the information field that I'm going to get into in a moment when I talk about the coil. But beyond that, a deeper aspect of the coaching module is this powerful way that it works with the Akashic and karmic and ancestral realities that are living all around us. So these frequencies, we have our 3D reality right here, but the Akashic and ancestral And if you know anything about epigenetics, all the frequencies are actually all right here, even though all we see is the physical. And so this injury for me was much more than just physical. It was a very deeply karmic ancestral injury. And what was fascinating is as I was going through this process of desiring physical healing, I knew how deeply the energetics were to fully resolve this injury, that I needed to work with the karmic and the ancestral components. And the thing about the coach is that it picked up on things that I never would have picked up on logically to help bring resolution and healing to this. One particular thing is like, sometimes the things that it reveals can be kind of jarring. You're like, oh shit, I didn't know that was living in there. And one in particular that came up on an ancestral imprint was, I resolve my greed. And when this came up, it felt gross in my body. And I was like, ooh, because I don't identify with greed. It's not like a present part of my reality, but I could feel the power of it in this ancestral imprint. And so using the coaching module enabled me to really work through things like this that have enabled truly full healing and thriving. Like, I had my surgery 9 weeks ago. I was 9 weeks post-op yesterday. I am virtually pain-free. I just have a few muscular things that I'm working through with physical therapy. But the energy component of healing a physical injury like this has been so massive for me in a way that I will forever be grateful for the coach, because it has enabled true full healing in mind, body, and spirit for me in regards to an injury that really took up more than a decade of my life. And so, like, was Healy able to prevent me from needing a fusion? No. But was it able for me to shorten the timeline and bring full healing and a truly into a possibility in a way that I don't think I would be here otherwise? I don't think that this would have happened had Healy not come into my life. So I will forever be grateful for not only the physical recovery, but for the ways in which I don't have time to get into on this call, that Healy has brought me fully alive, in which I have been able to come back to life. So that being said, let's talk a little bit about the coil. The coil is an accessory that you can purchase that slides into your Healy, and it uses wireless energy through the transmission of scalar waves. And so the coil works as a complement to the microcurrent that you use in the wristbands or the electrodes, and it offers a different way to influence the body's bioenergetic field. And what I love really about this, like on a geeky level, is like how scientifically it is working with tapping you into quantum potential and your quantum reality of what you desire to manifest in the world. So the coil is working on the level of the electromagnetic and the quantum. It's interfacing specifically with the information field. And the way that it works is the energy waves that are generated when it's plugged into the Healy is that it's reaching the upper part of the bioenergetic field, and it's coming down into the electromagnetic nature of the physical body. So it's working with both. And it uses very real frequencies that are measured in hertz that are accessing us molecularly, electromagnetically, and also in the quantum where all potential reality is stored. So again, it transcends some of our logical understanding, but nonetheless provides very real opportunities for us to tap into our highest potential. And a huge way it's doing this is, we're getting a little geeky here, but it's technically using a quantum noise generator that is created by two magnetic fields that are in the coil, that are overlaid, that are working specifically with quantum entanglement. So I'm going to leave it at that with the coil and move into my joy of speaking a little bit about the vision and mission of Healy and the company. So the ultimate mission of Healy is to elevate human consciousness. It seeks to do this through the spiritual, physical, and financial sovereignty and nourishment and coherence of the whole human, facilitating nourishment and coherence of the whole human. And we don't have time to get into all the levels of integrity that this company carries, but what I want to share is briefly how most of us, when we come into Healy, we're really not looking for any more technology in our lives. If anything, we would less technology. But what we have found is the way that Healy facilitates using this technology is not only super simple and intuitive once you get the handle of it, but the company's ethics regarding the technology are so in alignment with what most of us are desiring, especially at this time in space when data is being harvested. We don't know how our information is being used. So Healy as a company spends £5 million a year making sure that our data is not hackable, that it stays private, and that it's never shared or sold. And in alignment with that, there is no AI associated with this technology. If anything, it really seeks to access the whole human in a way in which is keeping us in our highest coherence, that is not infiltrating these other aspects of technology that a lot of us have some conflict with. And so that being said, moving into Healy, like, who created Healy? Who is the founder? What was his motivation? How are we here using this amazing device? The inventor is Marcus Schmeicke. He is German. He is like this wacky, amazing spiritual quantum physicist who actually started understanding quantum physics at a very young age. He was 16 when he decided this is what he wanted to study. He was 20 when he went to university. And then just a few years later, he actually left university because he was understanding the science of what he was working with. And he was drawn to go to India and become a Vedic monk to actually experience the consciousness and aspects of the quantum field in a felt experiential way. And so if you aren't familiar with what it means to be a Vedic monk, the Vedas are the most ancient texts we have in humanity. They're 5,000 to 7,000 years old, and they carry deep, deep transmissions on consciousness and quantum physics in a way that science is just now starting to validate as truth. Like, the ancient yogis knew what was up. And so Marcus has this beautiful blend of the quantum and the consciousness. And, when he started to come into desire to create this technology for humanity, it was through creating a vehicle for humans to enable us to interface with the quantum in a way that was also really tangible and that would facilitate our highest unfolding. So he's quoted to say, "Science without spirituality is blind, and spirituality without science is just lame." And we really need to put both together in order to have an integrated world. And so Marcus is an amazing human. He's also a Vedic astrologer. And so there's all of these components that are woven into the company that I think are really special and unique that you don't get from most tech companies. And as far as like the money, how did Healy come into being? Okay, we have this amazing idea, we have this amazing technology, but like, how did this come into being from a financial standpoint, which I think is important to mention, because when we want to follow the true integrity of most things, if you follow the money, it really tells the truth. And so the primary founder of Healy is Christian Helper. And when they were developing this technology, they realized they needed an investor. And I love that Marcus and Christian actually met at an astrology conference. So it just sort of like goes to the deeper level of like where these people are coming from and like the quality of humans that are running this company. But basically, Christian Helper started to make his money in Bitcoin and hedge funds, and he did really well from those two components financially in his career. And he had a pivot at some point where he decided he only wanted to invest in things that were going to contribute to the healing of humanity and Earth and things that were doing good in the world. And so that is really where we get the two founders of this company. And with that, I think I'm going to pass it over to Jessie.
Hey, thanks, Ashley. Hey, guys. Hey, I'm Jessie, and I'm from the States, but if you can tell, I have a slightly more European door behind me because I'm still in Portugal post Healy retreat that we had a few weeks ago. So I'm happy to be here. And I want to touch on a few things, one of which is you've heard Raine and Ashley talk about the Healy, which is the main device that we have. And you can see I'm wearing the wristbands right now. So I am having microcurrent delivered. But last year, Healy came out with a second groundbreaking product called the Mag Healy. So Mag standing for magnetic. So whereas the regular Healy is working with your electrical body and the electricity in your electrical field, we are also magnetic beings. And it's like two sides of the same coin, the electric and the magnetic. So this is the Mag. It really looks like a smoke detector that I pulled off the ceiling, but you can see there are no wires. So this is completely wire-free, and it has 3 basic applications. You can use it to harmonize your atmosphere, you can use it for your water, and you can use it on the body. So with the atmosphere, you can run various programs where this is emitting, supportive frequencies into your environment. Things like, you can run energy programs. I love the sleep program. I run that at night. There's EMF protection programs. So this is perfect for your entire household. You could have the Mag running, on your kitchen counter while you're cooking. You could have it at your dinner table as a family. You could use this in the car on the go. You could be using this, in the office, or if you are a practitioner of any sort, the Mag is the perfect tool for supporting what you are doing in your work, whether it's, as like a chiropractor or a life coach or a fitness coach. You can be running frequency programs that are supporting the other work that you're doing. So that's the atmosphere. The second way we can use the Mag is we can actually inform our drinking water with specific frequencies. So I can set my Mag, on top of a pitcher of water, run the program for a few minutes, and it is sending specific frequencies into that water, whether it's, I could run something, for energy or for detox or whatnot. And it's simply another way of our body receiving and absorbing the frequencies. So those are the first 2. The third way I can use the Mag is it has body applications where I'm actually placing it on different parts of my body. And honestly, this was the thing I was most excited about, and why I very quickly grabbed one of these is because the Mag comes with 24 programs from a Dr. Carolyn McMakin. And I don't know if you've heard of her before. She has a fantastic book called The Resonance Effect. But she pioneered this field of medicine called frequency specific microcurrent. And it's basically it's where she discovered, kind of some of these things and practices that used to be used before a lot of the modern medical systems came in and regulated, what was allowed and what was not allowed. Some of these things using electromagnetic, devices used to be more in use. So Dr. Carolyn McMakin kind of rediscovered some of this and figured out how to use these dual frequencies, sending 2 frequencies at a time, and has had incredible results in her practice over the last, almost 30 years. So she partnered with Healy, and to me that speaks volumes of Healy as a company, because if you look up her work, it's mind-blowing. And the fact that she wanted to partner with Healy to help create the Mag Healy, to me, it just says everything. So basically, Healy said, give us the top programs that you are running in your clinic with your patients. What are the top things that we would love to give people access to at home? And it comes with 24 McMakin programs. I use several of these a day. These are things like a program for the vagus nerve to help the body go into the parasympathetic. There's sleep programs. There's liver support for detox. You can use kidney programs to support your kidneys. There are programs for, local discomfort like neck, lower back, joints, tendons, bones. So honestly, that is my favorite part of the Mag is the McMakin programs. So if you're thinking about Healy, you might also want to think about the Mag. And if you already have your Healy, I would say, this has become just as much part of my daily routine and support as my Healy. So that's a little bit about the mag. And, honestly, the reason that I am even here talking about this with you guys is because, basically Healy gave me my life back in the last 6 months, just like Raine and Ashley and so many others of us who you might see, or hear sharing about Healy. For most of us, the reason that we are doing this is because Healy changed our lives, literally. And it still is so overwhelming to me that it's still emotional, because I honestly, I can't believe it still. But I suffered with years of chronic issues, mainly debilitating fatigue, also a lot of joint pain and muscle pain and things like that. But I've had seasons where my fatigue is so bad that I had to make my life really, really small. I could manage very little. I basically had to choose like one thing to get done each day. So if that thing was, cook a meal, or if it was run an errand, or whatever it was, I had to really, really ration my energy each day. And not even did I get my one thing each day. Some days I would just be like, nope, nothing's happening. And I'd be stuck in bed. And so I have lived like this for years. And the way I described it really ties into what Raine said in the beginning. If you remember, she talked about the cell voltage and how our cells are like batteries. And, the mitochondria produce ATP, which is like the gas in the gas tank. And for me, I felt like I had been doing life on a 15% battery for years. You know how when you get that old cell phone battery and it just won't hold a charge, or like your gas tank being empty? That's how I felt. I had no life force. I had nothing in me to get anything done. And so I started using Healy back in January, so a little over 6 months ago. And I have gotten my life back. And I now feel full of energy. I feel like I have bandwidth to expand my life, to move forward and make plans and hope and dream and thrive and have relationships. Like, everything has opened up. And for those of you who have dealt with chronic issues, you understand that when you're dealing with things like that, it affects every part of your life. So that is why I'm here talking to you about Healy. Is it has literally changed my life. I've done a 180. And the crazy thing is, it's not just in my physical body and my health. Little did I know that Healy was arriving to me as a multifaceted gift. I was just looking for physical support. I was in a total pit, right? I had tried a lot of different things over the years, like all natural and holistic to support myself. And, some of them were wonderful, but nothing came in and jump-started me like Healy. Nothing gave me that shift. So that's all I was looking for. But very quickly, I discovered, oh, wow, there's actually a business opportunity attached to Healy, and I can share Healy with other people, and I can create like a very generous leveraged income business with Healy. And to me, it was a no-brainer, because I was going to be telling everybody about this thing anyway. I mean, it just changed my life. And I have to say that one of the most interesting things, and I'm still kind of processing this, but what I have discovered is that the same lack and depletion and that lack of vital energy that I have been experiencing physically for so long, I was also experiencing that financially. Total lack, total depletion. And I was really stuck because I was actually unable to work for a few years because of my health. And I thought, what am I going to do? Like, it was that catch-22. Like, I have to work to have income. I need income to try something else for my health. That, I felt like this about December last year. And Healy arrived, and it was, little did I know, it was the answer for so many things. So I started building a business, with Healy, probably back in February. And it is one of the best decisions that I have made because, you know, not only are we able to tell other people about Healy and help them move into a path of thriving, right? But in our community, in working with leveraged income, where it's not just me building my business, but it's all the combined efforts of our entire community where we're really supported. I can now, like, I feel nourished financially. I am actually receiving financially in a way where I'm doing business and life differently. So just like the Healy is supporting me on a physical level, the way that we are doing business actually facilitates us staying in a mode of rest, of ease, of connection. And so I have found, you know, this is a great path that's, you know, it is enabling financial sovereignty, but it's also, I can feel it nourishing my physical body. And I know, you know, that might sound a little strange, but as, you know, as I'm receiving in a new way that we're doing business, it's actually coming alongside what's happening in my physical restoration. So yeah, if you have been looking for, you know, adding an income stream to what you're doing, if you're looking to exit your current job, you're tired, you're worn out, or maybe you're the solopreneur and you're just exhausted because it's all on your shoulders, I would encourage you to reach out to the person who sent you the link to this call and ask them more about the business that comes with Healy, because it's one of the most rewarding things. Healy as a company is so generous, and we have an incredible community that we get to do life with. And we also have an amazing window of opportunity, because most people have not heard of Healy. And you get to be the person that shares that with them, and at the same time receive very generously. So with that, I think, Ashley, I'm going to pass it over to you.
Thanks, Jessie. Yeah, so just to close this out, you know, I want to touch on the deep aspect of like integrity and values in this space when it comes to the technology, when it comes to the community. And as Jessie was talking about the business, I think some people hear about Healy and they get caught up on the business model, and it really prevents them from experiencing the true revolutionary power of the device itself. And so if maybe you're hearing that and you're like, oh, I don't know, like, I really invite you to stay open-minded to like actually how the device is facilitating this change. And beyond that, to reduce it to a business model is to miss the point, because Healy is truly changing lives. It's changing the world in so many ways. It can radically change how we experience life in a very short amount of time. And it only gets deeper and better over time with mind, body, spirit, money, community, and meaning. And so with that, I just want to drop in one final piece. When you purchase a Healy from this lineage, so whoever sent you this link is within this lineage in Healy. And if you don't have a Healy yet, or if you want to participate in what I'm about to mention, connect with the person who sent you this link. Part of the beauty is the high level mentorship and business immersions and personal development that is offered for free once you purchase a Healy from someone in this lineage. And because these immersions and these experiences with alchemy and embodiment are really transformative on the business piece, and healing and resolving a lot of challenges most of us have with money and worth and all of these things. But beyond that, the mentorship and the community is much bigger than just a business. And the community piece and this sense of coming into our highest embodiment is something a lot of us have longed for a really long time. So again, thank you so much for joining us. If you have a Healy and you want to join in on some of the business stuff, again, connect with whoever sent you this link. And if you don't have a Healy and you want to jump in, then again, connect with the person who sent you this link and to this call. And thank you so much for joining us. Raine and Jessie, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I will just add that we have some incredible promos this month where, you know, you can get your Healy at incredible savings. So if you would like to find out more about those promos, just reach back out to the person who sent you the link to this call. They can give you all the details, as well as, you know, if you have questions about the device or the business, anything, please reach out to that person. I know Raine and Ashley and I would just like to thank you all for your time. Thank you for being here. And I know that we are all so grateful to be perhaps, you know, just a small piece of your journey in maybe finding a new path to thriving. So thank you all for being here and hopefully see you soon.
Thank you everyone for joining. Thank you, Jessie and Ashley. I always love listening to you guys' stories.